Okay, if you see me blushing, it's just because my husband is behind the camera. Hi guys, welcome back to Mel's Kitchen, and in today's video I am going to show you the highly anticipated Jamaican homemade patties. Okay, if you guys follow me on Instagram and on Facebook, you guys will realize that I have been really homesick and my husband has been requesting patty. So without further ado, today is the day that I'm going to attempt to make Jamaican homemade patty, and hopefully it will turn out really good. But in this first section, I'm going to show you how I attempt to start making the patty, because what I'm going to do is day one, I'm just going to cook the meat in slow cooker, and then day two I'll proceed to continue to making the patties. And don't worry, Tyler is behind there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and show you real quick all the things that I am going to use to attempt to make this Jamaican patties. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and show you all the things that I'm going to use to make the filling of the patty. So here I have some minced beef. All I'm going to add to the minced beef is some onions that I chopped really fine. So I'm just gonna throw this in there. Some sweet peppers that I also chopped finely. And if you realize, I'm putting a lot of seasoning into this minced beef because I really want the flavors to pop. And I'm also going to add some minced garlic really fine. And of course, if you're a Jamaican or Caribbean, you cannot not add hot pepper. So this is hot pepper chopped finely. And I'm going to go ahead and add some salt, which I'm just going to blindly throw over this. But you guys don't worry, I'll have all the ingredients and the portion listed in the description box down below, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. And this what I'm going to add next. This is all-purpose Jamaican seasoning. It's a blend of different kind of seasoning. For who can't get this seasoning, if you're attempting to make this patty, you can just add any all-purpose seasoning that you wish. So I'm just going to add some of that over there, and I'm not gonna add too much because it has salt in it, and I already add salt. So I'm just adding this to give it a pop of flavor. And I'm going to also add some hot pepper, powdered hot pepper. I'm sorry for my husband when he's eating this. I'm going to also add some thymes, but what I'm going to do, I just need the leaves of the thymes. So I'm just going to go ahead and shred this right in there, and it's dry thyme, so it's easy for the leaves to come off. Right in there. And I'm going to go ahead and add some browning to this because I don't want the meat to be too white. I don't want it to be bland. So just to change the color a little bit, I'm just going to add a little tip of browning just to change the color a little bit. Just because I am putting this in the slow cooker to cook, I am not going to add any water to it because it's gonna steam. So hopefully my experiment will work. So what I'm going to do, not to make the meat too runny, I am going to add a teaspoon of cornstarch. To make all my flavors pop a little bit more, I'm going to add a teaspoon of sugar. So now that all my ingredients is in my container, what I'm going to go ahead and do is just stuff my hand in there, and I'm going to mix this up really good, and make sure that all this seasoning is distributed really good into this minced beef. Okay, so now that I have mixed all my seasoning in the beef really well, I am going to let this marinate for a little bit. I'm going to let it marinate for an hour or two before I start cooking. But what I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to place it into the slow cooker without turning on the slow cooker, just to let it stay there and marinate a little bit. So I'm just going to place this into my slow cooking container. And like I tell you guys, I am not going to add any water to this any at all, and I'll just show you the process and see if I'll have to track back and add water. But for now, I'm just going to let it stay here and marinate for a few hours, and then we will proceed with slow cooking this for about 8 hours or so. But let's see how long it will take. So I'll come back to you guys and show you guys the process. Okay, you guys, so it's been about 2 hours since I seasoned my meat. I think it has marinated enough. I'm just going to go ahead and close my slow cooker and turn it on and allow this to cook for about 6 to 8 hours. I'll tell you guys exactly how long it takes to cook when it is done. We're gonna check to see what our beef look like. Our first check. See, so my reason for not putting any water in here is coming to life. So I'm just gonna mix this up because there's so much water in it. It springs so much water already, which I had expected to happen. So the meat is just kind of crumbled together a little bit, but I'm sure by the time the 8 hours pass, it will be so smooth and mushy. I won't have to worry about separating the meat. You guys, it smells so good. I'm just kind of crushing it because it was just together a bit. Just gonna let this continue cooking. Okay, you guys, so just let's check on our meat to see how well it's coming along. That look really, really good, and it's getting really soft, just the way I'm hoping it would have turned out. So that's a good sign. I'm just poking it like this because I don't want the meat to stick together, but I'm sure by the time it finishes cooking that it will be soft enough to mash out. So I'm just going to leave this, let it continue cooking for a few more hours. It's coming on really good. Give you a good shot of that. It's coming on really nicely. Of course, I have to taste it. Okay, you guys, so 8 hours has passed, so let's check to see, wow, how our meat is going. This looks really, really good. It's really, really good. I'm just going to turn this off and let this to cool for a few hours so we can go ahead and make our patties. Hi guys, so after 8 hours of cooking our beef, cooking our mince, this was the outcome. As you can see, let me just show you right here. That is really soft. That's the aim that I was going for, and all the liquid is all dried out. Smells and tastes really good. So what I did, it is now cool, and I just transfer it into a container and place it right here because we're gonna work with this. So remember I told you earlier that I will not be making the crust of the patty from scratch. So what I did was buy these pastry at the supermarket. You can get them to buy at your local supermarket easy. It's just like a pie crust, if you can see. So this is what I'll be using. Here I have an egg that I mixed, and I have some water right here. You're going to see exactly what we're going to use this to do. So what I'm going to use the water to do is seal the pastry together when I'm closing it. And the purpose of the egg, I'm going to use my brush and brush the egg onto the pastry just before it almost finished to bake. And what we're gonna need is also some cheese. Now the purpose of the cheese, what we're gonna use the cheese for is after the patty is finished baking, we're going to open up the patty when it's hot. We're going to open up the patty when it's hot and stick one of this slice of cheese into the patty, and the patty will now become not just beef patty but a beef cheese patty. You're going to also need one of these baking sheets to bake your patty on. You're going to also need one of these pizza cutters, and you're going to need a fork. You're going to see the purpose of these tools in just a bit. On my cutting board, I am just going to pull my pizza crust, take it out of the container, okay, now the crucial part is you must decide on the size that you want your patties to be. I am going to use this bowl as a measuring tool to estimate the size of my patty. So my patty is going to fall into half. So one of my patties is going to be about this size. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to go ahead and use my oil and spray my pan. And the purpose for this is to make sure that your patties will not stick. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and place this container right to the edge of your dough, because you don't want to waste your dough, right? And now the pizza cutter is going to come in handy. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this in the shape of this container. And lift this up. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a spoon. I'm going to use a spoon and I'm going to spoon the meat onto one side of this circle that I just created right here. You want to be very gentle with this, okay? You don't want to stock it up too much of meat. So that's about the amount of meat that I'm going to be putting in one of these patties. What I'm going to do now, my water will be coming in very handy. So I'm going to just stick my finger in this water and put it around the edge of the pastry. The purpose for this is to make sure that your pastry seals when you fold it, because you don't really want the spilling of the meat coming out from the pastry. So now that we've added our water, I'm just going to take this side and fold it over onto the other side just to seal this patty. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this fork and I'm going to seal, just press down the edge of the patty like this. I'm just basically sealing it. And then I'm just going to use my fork and stick some holes on the top. Just like that, to create a nice little pattern. And then I'm gonna do this a few more times just to finish out the amount of meat that we have here. Okay, you guys, our oven is already preheated and we're just gonna stick those in and let them bake for about 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, you guys, so our 10-15 minutes has passed and our patties are looking really golden and really pretty. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to take them out and brush the eggs over them and put them back into the oven for about 2 to 3 minutes. I'm just gonna brush this egg on really quick and put them back into the oven. Okay you guys, I think our patty is ready, so I'm just gonna take them out and see how it goes. You guys, we're just gonna take these off and stuck them onto a plate right over here. Okay you guys, so there you have it, my homemade Jamaican patties. The only thing that I would change about these after testing them is that I would double the pastry. So when I was cutting the circles, instead of using one circle, I would put one circle on top of the other to have it more thick, to have the pastry crust more thick. But all in all, it tastes really good. It just melts away in your mouth, and this is as close as I can get to my culture, one of my favorite things to eat, one of my husband's favorite things to eat. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe if you're new to my channel, and if you ever try any of these, please feel free to tell me how it works out for you, and enjoy watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. So there you have it, loves, a quick and easy way of how I can get the closest to Jamaican patties.